I'm finally back. My dad went into hospice in the beginning of the month. He died March 13th. And then we just had his funeral March 28th. So I'm back. And I'm doing a longer video. I'm gonna plant some zinnias and then sort of talk while I do that. This is the result of my 25-year-old seeds. Nothing grew except a little bit of algae. So I'm going to reuse that for my zinnias. I'm gonna do this Queeny Lime with blush. And then I'm gonna do this Double Zahara Raspberry Ripple. This is a regular size one, and this is a mini size. I guess we'll do Queeny Lime first. So I have some for 2023 and I have some for 2024. And the same for the other two. So, I went to my dad's funeral. It was in Racine. That's where both of my parents are from originally. And we had it at Siena Center, which is where the Dominican nuns sort of live or congregate. Because my aunt is a nun. She's probably one of the youngest. At like 70 something. But it was nice. It wasn't, my uncle's a deacon, so it wasn't, I guess, led by a priest. You know, it wasn't official. And I got to do the eulogy. And everybody liked my eulogy. They said I was speaking clearly, that everybody could understand me, and then they were very touched by what I said. I talked about my dad's love of nature. I talked about him being a Boy Scout and a Scout leader. He was sort of the Scout leader of a bunch of misfits. I talked about a blueprint of sacrifice. So he taught me about sacrifice. I don't need to think about tough decisions. I just act. Put yourself first and do it anyway. It sounds kind of stupid, but I really realized that blueprint when I had to take my dog down to Madison because he was overdosed with anesthesia up here, and they told me that he had some liver issue. But he didn't have a liver issue, they just overdosed him. So I went down to Madison, they told me that he was overdosed and he doesn't have a liver issue. And then I just had him neutered down there in Madison. But I had to go there like 3 times. First for the fake issue, then for like an initial for the neuter, and then for the neuter. But I didn't need to fight with work. I didn't need to think about the cost. I just did it. And that's when I really realized this blueprint of sacrifice. My parents struggled with it, but I didn't have to struggle with it. And I talked about my brothers and what I saw from my father in them. I talked about perfectionism and, finishing projects 90% of the way. That's something my father and I have in common. The kitchen is 90% done, the bathroom is 90% done. Parts of his house are 90% done. I think I'm just gonna do this all one for the Queeny Lime. Because I'm talking and I'm not paying attention, I'm not being mindful. I think the only thing that I'm really struggling with right now with grief is the apathy. Just not caring about things. Like with the new job, I'm supposed to go to a team building activity, which I think is stupid and pointless. And I'm supposed to go to a potluck, which is also stupid and pointless. But, my dad's love of nature, my dad taught me about gardening. I said before about my dad becoming a master gardener. He used to take me to the farmers markets on Saturday mornings, and we had one lady who we would buy our plants from. And we would talk to her about how to grow the plants. We even went to her place and saw where she grows all of her plants. My dad took me to garden centers, and I remember taking a class on building butterfly gardens. And I have an excellent memory, so I still remember all that information. Talking about sort of building layers, height on the sides and the back, and then having shorter ones so that you have plants that sort of help with the wind so that the butterflies aren't caught up by the wind. Cedar, you don't want to have cedar wood chips or cedar raised beds because that's not gonna do well for butterflies. Obviously, it repels moths, and moths are like butterflies. Talking about planting natural native plants like butterfly weed and goldenrod. Hopefully you're not watching me closely because I'm probably planting in the same row twice. Because I can't do two things at once. The other highlight of the weekend was eating all the delicious food like Danish layer cake, an entire sheet cake of Danish layer. Now today we gotta start the diet. So even though I'm struggling with apathy, I can think about growing these plants and tending to my garden as a way to honor my father and to memorialize him. I've already been thinking about where I can put a memorial garden within the garden. What I really want is I want this small, like one of those free libraries that you see by a sidewalk, but double or triple the size. And you open it and it's more like a memorial where it's got pictures in it and things like that. So you just open it, have your memories and everything, and then close it. I want something like that in my garden. And I think I'm going to put it in the back by the Bloodgood maple instead of up towards the house, because I gotta deal with these crazy neighbors and their floodlights 24/7. So all of this is Queeny Lime with Blush. Then we'll do another one for the Double Zahara Raspberry Ripple. Then I can also update you on how everything looks. I should congregate some of this stuff. So we got our salmon multi-blooms, we got our bicolored ivy geraniums, we got our Moppet Rudbeckia, and then our lavender here. Lavender Rudbeckia geraniums. I'm gonna cluster them over here. Then I got more geraniums. And then I got my peppers. I planted all this stuff. I left it alone for a week and it survived. And then recently I left it alone for 4 days. The other reason I didn't make a video is I didn't want to tell people that I was gone from my house to break in. I'm here for the long haul now. And then we'll leave the tomatoes. These are all my marigolds. 3 varieties. Vanilla Cream, Superhero, and Mango Tango. They all look the same. And some of them actually have little buds on them. So I'm going to have to pinch some of that off. gotta move this geranium. And then this only works if I angle them a little bit. Oh boy. I'll show you here. You got peppers, marigolds, all the other stuff, and then I'll raise this light up. Probably about there. And then we have 1, 2, 3 more lights available. Then, let's see, you can see my tomatoes here. Those are gonna have to be transplanted into 6-inch pots soon. Over here, I should put them on the heat mat. Queeny Lime.